Neil Robertson beat John Higgins 6-5 in a thrilling encounter at the Masters yesterday. Sean Murphy beat Gary Wilson 6-3 in a not so thrilling match, but it still had its moments. The first game of the day was Neil Robertson against John Higgins. John Higgins went 5-1 up, 5-1 up. He only needed to go and win one frame because it's the best of 11, so whoever gets to 6 first goes on and wins the match. So at 5-1, I've sort of turned it over. I want to watch the Arsenal game. I bloody wish I never turned over and watched that horrendous, but I'm an Arsenal fan. I should never have turned over and watched the Arsenal game because it turned out I was missing a great match between Higgins and Robertson. So at 5-1, you're thinking, all right, this game's done, whatever, do you know what I mean? But Neil Robertson does what Neil Robertson does best against John Higgins. He always seems to turn around a massive deficit. This is not the first time he's turned around a 5-frame deficit, but he went on yesterday 5-1 down. He weren't really, the game didn't start off too great. It was alright, but the first frame said it all. I think it took 10 to 12 minutes to pop the first ball. It was very, very pragmatic, edgy. I guess, that's what the Masters does to you. You got the 2,000 seater stadium and it was packed out, so the nerves were there. Everyone was a bit edgy, but once the game got going, John Higgins kicked on, took it to 5-1, and then I've turned it over. I'm watching the Arsenal game. I'm crying my eyes out because Arsenal are absolutely pony. Turned it back over. I couldn't believe my eyes. Neil Robertson's brought it back to 5-5. So now I'm sitting there and I want to watch that now. Forget watching Arsenal. I ain't watching that rubbish. So I thought, all right, I'll watch the last frame, and Neil Robertson ended up winning the frame and then winning the match 6-5. So well played to Neil Robertson. And Robertson shouldn't even be in that tournament. And I'm not meaning that in a bad way. He's come in and he's replaced Ronnie Sullivan because Ronnie Sullivan has withdrawn from the tournament because of whatever reason. I don't even know myself, but we all assume it's mental reasons as such. So Robertson shouldn't even be there. And people thinking, oh, he's gone there to make up the numbers. He ain't prepared for this. Apparently he's not even turning up to the right venues on the right days in previous tournaments. He's all over the place, but he turned up at the right time, turned up at the right moment, and he ain't there to make up the numbers. He could have just packed it in when he's 5-1 down. He probably thinks to himself, well, I weren't supposed to be here anyway. I'm happy just to be here. I tell you who ain't just happy to be there. Neil Robertson ain't just happy to be there. He's shown his class. He's shown his quality. When he went 5-1 down, he went on to win five great frames against Higgins, and like I said, he went on to win the match. Robertson ain't there to make up the numbers by the looks of it. He wants to be in that tournament and he wants to win that tournament, and fair play to him. I like Neil Robertson. He's a stand-up guy, gentleman, and obviously I love his reactions when he does go on to when he's got quite an emotional response to winning frames. Not when he loses, he don't get the ump as such. He doesn't show it, but when he wins, he's fist pumping this and he's doing this. So it does mean a lot to the guy, and I'm happy for the guy, Neil Robertson, to now go on into the quarterfinals, and hopefully let's see how he gets on. He ain't there just to be a wild card, you know what I mean? And I do like them kind of stories, the player who ain't supposed to be in the tournament goes on to win it. Do you remember Ivanovic in tennis at Wimbledon? Weren't supposed to be there. Some Serbian player, wild card. He went on to win the Wimbledon, and he was infectious. Everyone loves a good story like that. So maybe Neil Robertson can have his story. And then the other game was Sean Murphy against Gary Wilson. It weren't the best of games. Murphy went 4-1 up. So Murphy was battering Gary Wilson. Gary Wilson, I think this was like his only second time at the Masters, and it's his first time actually playing at Ali Pali in front of 2,000 people, and you could tell the nerves had got to him. He was missing some simple pots. There was one frame, I think it was the 5th frame. Both players were really not on great form. They were missing. So even I would have put it half the pots they were missing, but that's what pressure does to you. And apparently pressure at the Masters is like second to the Crucible. So, I can sit here and say, oh, he missed an easy pot and blah, blah, blah. But when you're there and you're playing in front of 2,000 people in quite a confined space, and you can feel the atmosphere, an easy shot could be the hardest shot of your life. Do you know what I mean? But Sean Murphy went 4-1 up. You think, this is in the bank for Sean Murphy. He should win this now. I couldn't see another comeback like Neil Robertson against John Higgins. And then all of a sudden, Gary Wilson stepped up. It was 4-3. And now I'm thinking, right, all right, we've got another good game here. This could be a good comeback. And then he sort of just crumbled. Gary Wilson, he got it back to 4-3. And then the 8th frame, he played terrible. And like I said, I'm not going to sit here and criticise shots at a major snooker tournament. But, I mean, to get it back to 4-3 after being, I think, 4-0 down or 4-1 down, kick on now. You looks like you've got your eye in now. You looks like you're playing well. And he sort of just crumbled again, and then he went on to lose the match 6-3 in the end. So yeah, he did crumble in the end. Like I said, it's the first time he's played at Addy Pally in front of that crowd. Maybe it got to him. Sean Murphy's a veteran of the game. Like, he's been in the Masters 21 consecutive seasons. He's been there. He's done it. You know, he can. At 4-1 up, he ain't resting on his laurels. When it got to 4-3, he zoned in and he focused and he went on to win the game like a true veteran of the game does. It doesn't really feel that kind of pressure like Gary Wilson may have felt as such. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. I mean, it wasn't as a thrilling encounter as the Robertson game. It was on the verge of being that kind of thrilling encounter until Gary Wilson sort of just faded away out of the match, and Sean Murphy went on to win 6-3. So going by the first two games yesterday, it's looking like the Masters is setting up to be another great tournament of great snooker. I mean, like I said, the Robertson-Higgins game was just epic. I mean, we ain't got Ronnie O'Sullivan in the tournament. When you think of snooker, you think of Ronnie. The casual tunes in to watch Ronnie O'Sullivan. People who don't even like watching snooker tune in to watch Ronnie O'Sullivan. Is the game going to miss him if he does retire? Of course it is. But when they're producing games like that, yesterday's games, fair play. It's setting up to be another great tournament at the Masters. I encourage you, if you've got time, to watch it. We've got two great games today. My favourite to win the tournament, who I'm predicting to win the tournament, Mark Selby's playing Addy Carter today at 7 o'clock. Yeah, I'm going for Mark Selby to win the tournament. I've seen him in recent form and he is looking shit hot at the moment. He's banging in, walloping in centuries like it's nothing, do you know what I mean? So he's going in on good form. I'll be watching the Selby Carter game. Carter, I never used to like Carter. I don't know if it's because it was a Ronnie thing, maybe because like him and Ronnie don't like each other. I'm going to back Ronnie, But I saw Addy Carter on Q-tips, Stephen Emery Q-tips, and he held himself in good light. Didn't he was a helicopter pilot as well, or pilot, whatever he was piloting that day. I can't really. I think it was a little Cessna aeroplane. Took up Stephen Henry in there. He's quite funny as well. He's got character, and he's overcome a lot of. He's overcome cancer as well. So fair play to Addy Carter. I hold him in good stead now. My opinion of Addy Carter has changed, but I still think Mark Selby will beat Addy Carter and go on to win the tournament. And today at 1 o'clock, you got the legend, the main man. He is a great player, and the character on Mark Williams is just. You love watching it. You love watching him. You love watching him outside of snooker. Whatever he does, he's always a laugh. When he goes on Stephen Henry Q-tips, he's absolutely hilarious. He's got some witty banter. And he's playing Ding today. So I want Mark Williams to win. I like Mark Williams, but Ding can be a machine. So that game is really tight. I couldn't tell you who's going to win it. I hope Williams wins it, but if Ding sort of turns up and plays his best snooker, he can be a machine. So that'll be another interesting watch. That's at 1 o'clock today, so tune into that. After the games, I will try and get the reaction out a bit earlier. I'm not going to wait till the next day. It's only because the Arsenal yesterday, I had to do a reaction on that. By the time I've done a video on that, and they've pissed me off. It was so hard just to motivate myself to do another one. And by the time the Murphy game finished, it was nearly 10 o'clock. I'm an old man. I need my look. Can't you tell? I need my beauty sleep, mate. Do you know what I mean? I can't be going to bed at 1 in doing multiple videos and going to bed at 1 in the morning. I'm gonna look rat-arsed. If you like this video, hit up the like button. Like Neil Robertson, hit up John Higgins on a wicked comeback, and hit the subscribe button to Sports Almanac.